to Nashville Block Party. I'm Mark Block, sponsored by The Block Agency, www.theblockagency.com. Denver, Nashville, the Mountain West and Southeast best model and talent agency. And here we are with one of our favorite clients and good friend of mine for probably a decade. I feel like everybody's about a decade, but probably about a decade, Miss Jena Sims. How are you, babe?
Actually, we met in 2007 after I did Miss Teen USA. So it's been like just over a decade.
So Jenna is an actress, model, pageant queen, former Miss Georgia teen, one of our favorite peaches. There you go. And I knew what you were wearing because I just watched your story. So I knew that you had the cool little outfit going, the nice little sweater.
Well,
Uh,
I wish I have to move inside because my dog is about to jump in the pool and it's going to be so loud when she starts swimming around.
Without giving an address, you're down in Florida right now, right?
My address is as follows. No, yeah, I live
Stalkers, start
in
getting your pen and
Jupiter.
paper ready.
Yeah, I'm in Jupiter, and we are right here on the river. So I would show
Not the
you.
planet, the city of Florida. She is not on the planet Jupiter. She is in the
I
city of
know
Florida.
everyone always makes that joke, like, "Oh, I didn't know there was any life on Jupiter." I'm like, "Come on."
And I'm a dad joke king, so I had to make the joke, even though I've
Oh,
actually
it's
been
so
to
loud.
Jupiter, Florida. So,
And
oh, and she has the ring light. This is a girl who knows to do a self tape. She has the lighting. She is
my,
ready to roll. We can see this.
my ring light, it's in the kitchen because I had to film a bunch of like Instagram stuff in here. So I just needed like, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at myself the whole time.
Oh, and I'm looking at you, and so is everybody else. This is my favorite podcast to do because people will be looking at you, and I can like pick my nose, and no one will know the difference because no one's gonna be looking at me. And if you are, my number is. Oh, just kidding. What's on TV in the background? What are we watching?
Oh, I was watching golf actually.
You were watching golf.
Yeah, I've always been into the sport, so I can turn that. Let me mute it. Yeah, so
I,
I like to watch golf and I like to see who's playing well and I'm friends with some of these people now, so
well, and your golf fandom has made you a little bit of an internet celebrity.
I yeah, I mean almost infamously. Some of my most embarrassing moments are broadcast all over the world now.
I actually enjoy watching golf majors just to see what Jenna's wearing in the stands.
Oh my god, have I influenced you in any way?
You're like a real housewife of Jupiter.
Oh my god. I am not going to take any credit to that because I work my ass off and I will never be a real housewife.
Well, no, so do they though on the show, meaning like you're like a star, like you're fashion forward, you're like,
Oh,
looking good. No, that was meant as a compliment.
oh, why?
So
Thank you.
So let's catch up. What have you been up to? I know you've done a ton of acting in the last 10 years. You've starred in movies, you've been on TV shows. You were even on Entourage, is that correct?
I was on the Entourage TV show, and that was like actually my first job when I moved to LA after my brief stint in Nashville, where you corrupted me
We
pretty
were
much.
BFF. We
Yeah,
would
we
hang
were
out at
BFFs.
Lizard's and
We
Tin
had a
Roof.
good run. I actually went back to Tin Roof, where you and I used to go all the time. I went back to Tin Roof a couple of years ago, and they were like, "Are you legal yet?" Because they know that I was bouncing in there with you, and I was like 18, 19 years old.
Okay, I don't know what order these are going to air in, but you are the second or third person that's been on this that's like, you used to get me in the Tin Roof when you were 19 years old. I literally might have a class action suit against me by the time
No,
this
I
airs.
will say you did not get me into the Tin Roof. My fake ID got me into the Tin Roof. So don't
Thank
come
God.
after our block. So
And
yeah,
let's
so
just say I
after
never bought you a drink, so I never provided alcohol to a minor.
yeah, saying that you never bought me a drink to my not that I can remember in
And you are
Nashville.
not under oath, so this will not be held against you in the court of law.
The cops are
Um,
gonna like bust your door down for something that happened.
okay, so which they busted through my door
So yes, on
before.
back
Let's just hope it
to
doesn't happen again. But
I
moving to
was on
LA.
this whole question was about Entourage, and then we turned into like underage drinking. So yes, I moved to LA after Nashville once I booked all the country music videos that were known to mankind, and
Cool.
I just knew that there was something like bigger out there for me. So I moved to Los Angeles and I booked Entourage. I was a flight attendant on Jerry Jones's episode on the Dallas Cowboys private plane. And then I re auditioned when the movie was coming out and I did like a spot. It was actually a promo like for the movie. Johnny, the character,
Johnny
had
Drama, yeah.
yeah, Johnny Drama had the Johnny Walker sort of label, whiskey label, and I was in that like fake commercial for or Johnny Drama for Johnny Walker that aired in the theaters. I know it's kind of
It's
confusing.
like Inception.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
Johnny within a Johnny. Wait, so when you filmed Entourage, so it was like you, Jerry Jones, and was it most of the cast also?
yeah. I befriended Doug Elin. He was the I don't know if he was the director of that episode or he was like the main writer and he kind of created the show. So Doug and I actually are still friends to this day. He's so much fun. Befriended him in LA, and so I went to like a few of the parties. So I definitely met the cast and um but yeah, when I auditioned for the movie, it was totally fair and square.
And then after that, I have to say you were in two of the most entertaining movies I can remember. You were the lead in the Attack of the 50-Foot Cheerleader. Am I right?
I was. Fun fact, I actually bailed on that first audition because well, first off, I didn't know who Roger Corman was. And then I took this audition to my acting coach and he was like, "Jenna, like you have got to work with like Roger Corman. You have to go back there and beg for like a new time because Roger Corman started like Sandra Bullock's career. He's like the king of B movies and I'm like the ultimate B movie actress."
Same. Well, not actors, but
And
models.
I guess like my hesitation was just because there was a topless scene. And that was my first time ever doing anything topless. And it was scary at the time. Now I'm like, sure, why not? No.
Hey,
Yeah,
part
no
two of the
problem.
podcast, Jenna gets topless and our ratings go through the roof.
I
Yay, I knew I picked the right guest.
don't have enough alcohol in me yet. But
Somebody
so
get her
yeah,
water. No, just kidding, ladies.
So I went back and I re-auditioned and I booked it right there in the room. And it was probably to date the most memorable and most fun I've ever had on a job.
Wait, wow. So I've been doing film, TV, whatever, music videos for 15 years. I've never heard of that happening. You actually got the job in the room at the audition?
I got the job in the room. I know it's literally the only time it's ever happened to me. They were like, well, I was actually doing because it was so late. I think I was one of the last couple of girls to read, and the girl who was like opposite of the lead, um, the character's name was Brittany. The Brittany character was in the room because she had already booked it. So they were kind of doing chemistry reads, and so I guess maybe they were having callbacks or something that day, but they agreed to see me again. And then like after my first read, they were like, "Can you do any like cheerleading moves?" And so I did like a little like high kick thing and I just did a few like whatever. And they were like, "Are you available in the next 3 months?" I was like, absolutely.
And you're like, by the way, I'm from Georgia. Of course I can do cheerleading moves.
Right. Yeah. And I was so
Born kicking.
this was 2011. So I was like in my prime in LA, bopping around town. Like that was probably when I peaked. It was all downhill after
Welcome to my life.
that.
Wait, and then you did, I don't think I'm wrong. I'm 99% sure I'm right. And smack me if you were in the same room as me, you could. You were in Sharknado, weren't
Yeah, I was in Sharknado 5. I actually did. I've been killed by sharks twice in two separate movies now. Um,
you?
the
That is
first,
something
are
that
you there?
probably should be in your
I think
obituary.
I lost. Okay.
We back.
Yeah, sharks didn't get her
I was
this
gonna say, you
time.
need to put in your
No,
obituary, I've been killed twice by sharks in movies.
third time's a charm. Um, so yeah, the first the first time was in the movie. It was called Three-Headed Shark Attack, and I got
Sure.
killed just like the classic way that everyone gets killed by sharks is just swimming in the ocean. And then in Sharknado, I got like hit by the Sharknado.
Who is in, okay, so all the Sharknadoes blend in my mind. I've seen most of them. I know like I don't know who was in which. Was Ian Ziering in yours?
Yeah, he was. He was so amazing. And Tara Reid. Um,
Whoa.
I actually got to film that in London. That was so much fun. Like I went by myself to London. I had a couple of days to kill, and I just kind of bopped around and went to all the bars, and it was like so much fun.
Wait, so I have an Ian Ziering story. When I had to be like sixth or seventh grade. We belonged to some
Call him
place in.
Ian.
It's Ian, not Ian.
I know he'll like correct you so fast if
Oh,
someone
I
said
said Ian.
he's like it's Ian.
Oh, I know. And I was in maybe seventh grade, and the place I went to camp had a father son, or it was adult child, father son, whatever you want to call it, tennis tournament. And Ian Zarian came to the place, and my dad ditched me to be his tennis partner. And I still have not gotten over this because he was a better athlete than me. So my dad was his partner. It was before 90210. I didn't know who he was. He must have been on something else, like a soap opera or something. And if I ever do go to therapy, the first thing I'm going to talk to my therapist about, sorry, Dad,
Say
by the
this
way, you're
sounds like
probably listening. You ditched me for Ian Ziering, and then 90210 came out, and Steve Sanders
it
was
sounds
my
like
dad screwed me
something
over for. So we
it
both
sounds
have
like you
Ian
still need
Ziering
to work
stories.
through it. I'm here for you if you ever want to talk about it.
Jenna, there's a lot I need to work through, but that is definitely up there on my list. So how was London? How long were you in London for? What years was this?
This was year 2016, I believe.
Okay.
I always I always remember because I count everything of like when Brooks and I started dating. And 2016 was like pre Brooks, but not by much. So I'm pretty sure it was 2016. I was there for 4 years. I'm sorry, 4 days, four
I
years.
was like, I was like, why aren't you saying jolly good, Mike? If you were there for 4 years.
I have dual citizenship. No, 4 days. 4 days.
So, so anytime we talk about something, we'll say it's either PB or AB, pre-books, Brooks, or after Brooks.
This was actually there's a MB mid Brooks because he and I started dating. We dated in 2015. We broke up all of 2016 and got back together in 2017.
And now you guys are like great, like
Yeah,
super couple.
we've been together for 3.5 years. The first time I was super young. We weren't ready to sort of, move in and start a life together. But so he had to, get some people out of his system. I had to be single for a year and get some people out of my system. And then back in early 2017, we got back together because I stalked him basically and made him fall in love with me. And here we are.
And that Southern charm works. And
Oh,
funny
totally. I
enough,
think we both knew we were going to be together. It was just not the timing wasn't right the first time.
and it has to be after MB, so AB, me and you in the small world of worlds. I was in New York and texted Jamie Kelvin, who's our mutual friend, another Georgia Pageant girl who we absolutely
One of
adore, who was
many, yeah.
one of many Georgia Pageant girls we both know. And it was Brooks's birthday, and we all went to the
Yep.
Dream Hotel for the Kentucky Derby party.
I was, I was with someone recently and we were just talking about how much fun that party was.
So much
We
fun.
that
So
was
for those who
Brooks's
don't,
yeah, it was his 29th birthday and I'm like big on birthdays. So we went to New York and I had this whole day planned and that was like part of our daytime plans and lo and behold, you're at the dream party too and I think we ripped a bunch of fireball shots together.
we had quite a bit of shots. Speaking of fireball shots, do we have some do you have some love for me? Maybe we'll do a little fireball shot for old times. So also we talked pageant. The one thing I do want to talk about a little serious, because it's one of my favorite things about you is how kind you are and how generous you are. You've started a charity called Pageant of Hope, correct with the name right?
It's
That
Pageant. Yeah.
tell us about that. It's an amazing thing that you do, and I love it. I follow it on Instagram, and you've been doing it for a while, and just want to get the word out about it.
Only you could go from give me a fireball shot to tell me all about this nonprofit that you started.
Just call me the king of the segue.
Yeah, totally.
It's been a hard ride.
Yeah. I, so, I started Pageant of Hope actually in high school in 2004. prior to that, I was raising a lot of money for the American Cancer Society. And I really, really, really wanted to work with kids. And I just started doing pageants. And so I kind of combined those two passions of mine, which is working with kids and cancer awareness and raising money for cancer. And I created the Pageant of Hope, where every participant leaves a winner. And it's a pageant for children with challenges. So initially it was children with cancer, but then I've branched out to children with mental and physical disabilities, basically any kid who wouldn't normally compete in a pageant. And we do their hair, nails, makeup. We do a whole entire pageant, and then every single kid gets crowned a title. And I've been literally all over the world. We've been to Cuba, we've been to Ukraine, we've been to South Africa. I know it's so random. It's normally just kind of like who reaches out to me, and like, I have this whole setup, and it's so much fun. But yeah, we're actually trying to figure out how we can do it now because of,
COVID.
a global pandemic standing in my way.
So can we push it back, or you think you'll be able to do it this summer, or are you just kind of waiting to see what happens?
We have a new idea. Oh, cheers. I'm drinking Loverboy, which is like a free plug for them. They're not paying me, but I love this stuff.
What's Loverboy? I've never heard of this.
Have you ever seen the show Summer House on Bravo?
Yes, I have.
So it's two of the characters on there, two of the actual, they're not characters, they're real human beings. Kyle and Amanda. Yeah, they are characters.
Be honest, it's Bravo.
Kyle and Amanda, they're the couple on there. They started this, and I literally just buy it because I love them to support them. But it's actually really good. It's kind of like a White Claw, but better.
So we're kind of like, whatever. Like I'm drinking White Claw, whatever.
Yeah.
So okay, so how can people donate to Pageant of Hope? How can people help? What kind of volunteers do you need?
Probably one of the first times I've ever drank and talked about Pageant of Hope.
And you don't have Fireball with you, so I'm going to do a shot for old time's sake with you. Cheers, and thank you for being here.
I can't get too lit right now is because actually, well, I have a girls' dinner after this, but so for Pageant of Hope, we're doing this thing. We're doing a virtual pageant. Every single year, we work with a village in Nassau. It's called Gambier Village. So the kids there, they do it every single year, so they know exactly how the pageant stuff works with me. So we're doing what's called Pageant in a Box, and I'm getting together with my girlfriends tomorrow, and we are going to basically make these individual boxes with everything you need to have a pageant at your house. And I'm going to ship them all. There's 20 of them that are going to be participating, and we're shipping them to the Bahamas tomorrow. So next weekend, all these kids that normally would participate can do the pageant in their own home safely.
That's actually genius. I love that.
Great.
And I know you go to the Bahamas and do it there quite often. When you go there, are you working with kids from the Bahamas, or are these kids chosen from the states that like their families fly them to the Bahamas?
No, they're locals. They live in this village. It's sort of just like an impoverished area. It's just called Gambier Village, and yeah, they love it. They absolutely love it. They don't get to do a lot right now, so this will be good for them.
That's awesome. So, are you still in the pageant world at all? Do you do anything pageant related?
I'm old as hell. I'm 32.
I don't mean competing. I don't mean competing. Or you could be like Miss Old USA, Miss past my prime. You're not past your prime, by the way. You're in your prime. But I'm just trying to think of a name for a pageant for a girl who's 32.
No, I judge. I judged Miss Florida USA last year, and then I judged Miss Georgia USA last year.
With Kim.
Yeah. She asked me to do it this year, but it's the weekend of the players, and I was like, I think I'm gonna go to the players. I'm sorry.
So funny enough, I just got my flight today. I'm judging Miss North and South Dakota this year.
Oh, judging is the best. Like, I wish I could have experienced that before competing, because I would have changed so much shit when I was competing if I could have judged.
I've now judged Alabama. I've judged Colorado. I've judged Minnesota. I'm going to be doing North and South Dakota. I was supposed to judge Miss Louisiana, and I was on a flight. It's in like Shreveport or somewhere random in Louisiana. It's not New Orleans, to my dismay. When I agreed to do it, I thought I was getting a week in a Bourbon Street. I was not.
But you were staying at like a La Quinta Inn.
Exactly. Lo and behold, I had to stop over in Dallas. So say it's Friday. for Saturday, the pageant, I get to Dallas, there's a major like storm and I can't get to Shreveport or whatever city it was in. Forgive me, people from Louisiana, go Tigers. And they told me they couldn't get me there till Sunday. Well, I couldn't
That's
get there Sunday because if you don't judge the prelims on Saturday, you can't judge.
yeah.
So my only option was to sit in the Dallas airport for 8 hours to be flown back to Nashville. So I left my place in Nashville at 6 a.m. on Friday to get my flight. I got back to Nashville at my place 1 a.m. Friday, Saturday morning. So I never judged Miss Louisiana. They were short a judge. And
Oh
I
no.
spent like 18 hours flying and basically got drunk by myself in the DFW airport.
Well, I mean
And
that could be fun.
I mean, I kind of do that weekly, meaning getting drunk in airports. I'm that guy. But I
Oh, it's
never
the best
got to my La Quinta in
in Shreve.
Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh man, you missed out.
And my favorite Shreveport story is I went to an LSU Alabama game and we were tailgating, and these girls from LSU were like blacked out drunk. And my friend who went to LSU was there. And I say this with all respect, LSU people, but LSU people go like they can drink. They're a little out of control. And these girls were like falling all over the place and they left. And my buddy looks at me and goes, Shreveport girls go hard in the paint. And to this day, anytime I hear Shreveport, I think of Shreveport girls go
Poor
hard in
girl
the
in
paint.
the heart of the paint.
Yeah, they do not drink Loverboy. They are like
No.
crown out of the bottle. So, and by the way, girls from Shreveport, all six of you listening, I'm saying that with love and respect because I would hang out with you. So, okay, let's talk about Nashville. You did spend a couple good years here and have visited. We've already talked about the roof. Where are your favorite places here? Do you ever get back?
Yeah, I actually had a pageant of hope in Nashville back in 2019, pre-pandemic. I almost didn't even recognize it when I came back because now it's so different. I lived in Nashville 2007, 8, and most or some of 2009.
Yes.
So that was before it became the bachelor and bachelorette party central capital of the world. Like now it's so much more touristy.
Yes.
But my old places, let's see. I mean, I love the Gulch was kind of just like getting going. Like all those cool like rooftop places that are in the Gulch now, they weren't around back then. Like we were hanging
Were
out at
you
like
here when the Gulch was like train tracks and kind of like
yes,
shady? Yes,
yes, and they were
right.
building. I remember when they built those like
The icon.
music and rhythm and whatever those places are called, whatever those three big
Such
condos.
original names. It's like the
Yeah,
rhythm,
like Whisper. No.
the guitar.
Yeah. So they were just building those, but we were hanging out like Lime,
Oh my God,
Sambuca.
live. Were you in my fashion show at Lime when I did a fashion show there?
I did that. Yes. Oh man,
Lime
that's
is now Tavern for people that have been in Nashville since, but it was like a Cuban restaurant pre-tavern, and we did a bikini fashion show in the middle of the restaurant. 'Cause that's how I roll.
and then I also did
And
the
it was in a
thing where
bikini.
what's the guy's name that used to own Lime? Chris something.
Chris, I think he still is
Chris.
part of owning all of them. Yeah,
Oh, I'm
he
sure.
does own them all.
Shout out Chris.
Hey, Chris.
He hired me to do some like samba dance event they had there too. So I had to learn how to samba dance with like this huge feather like headpiece. And I'm like not a samba dancer, but it
Nothing
was fun.
screams Nashville more than samba dancers either.
Yeah, those are the types of modeling jobs I was doing in Nashville. But yeah, I mean, we
We've
would hang out
grown since then.
totally. I
We've got
know.
better jobs now.
Yeah, legit. I miss it though. Like we were hanging out at the stage, like any of those cheesy places on Broadway.
Which are now like, I mean, cool is the wrong word, but like fun and like
They weren't
big
cool
and
back then, and
right.
now they're
Like,
cool.
yes,
Yeah.
like back in the day, we'd go honky tonk on Broadway almost as a joke, or if we had like someone's like great aunt in town that like Waylon Jennings, like we take them down there. But now people like that's where you go and that's what you see on TV and the whole deal. I know.
Oh,
So, oh, where else?
and Red Door, Losers, and Winners are like three solid places.
Also, they're all great. We love winners and losers. Steve Ford, if you're listening, your bars are our favorite and you're great.
Give us a gift
Um,
card.
yes, yes, drinks on you next time we come in big styrofoam cups. Thank you very much. And then so okay, we talked about you spent 4 whole days in London. Um, You do like to travel though. Again, we all follow you. Drop your Instagram handle. You already have a ton of followers, but let's get you some more. All three more that you'll get from doing this.
Oh,
And but where else? What's the favorite place you guys have traveled?
so my Instagram is Jena M Sims, which is
Jenna
my
with one N, Sims with one M.
yep,
Okay,
JenaSims. Thank you very much. I think I'm hilarious on Instagram, so
you are.
yeah, thank you. Um, I would say so. Traveling is sort of broken up in tiers for me because I travel a lot with Brooks, who is my boyfriend. For those who don't know, he is a golfer. So I travel on the road
Quite
with
a
him.
good golfer. We should
He's
say
pretty
that.
good.
He's not just like a hack that plays at the club down the road.
Yeah, right. So yeah, he's a very decent golfer at best. No, I'm kidding. So I travel with him a little bit, like to the fun places. Like he's out in California right now, but I decided to stay here just because I'm actually pretty busy, which is awesome. Um, so I travel with him about
Golf
75%.
clap. You get
Woo,
it.
golf clap. Yeah.
Sorry, couldn't help myself. Had to put it in.
Yeah, I had to. So when I'm not traveling with him, we like to go on these crazy, like extravagant vacations. Um, Pre-pandemic, we went to Dubai, which I love, Abu Dhabi, the Maldives. That was just unreal. Like like the little huts you see on Instagram that have like the water slides that go into the water. Like we
Oh,
stayed
I
there.
posted them on Chewy's Travel
Unbelievable.
Tips. Which one did you stay at?
It was called Soneva Yani.
Ooh, it even
Yeah,
sounds bougie.
it was very bougie. So yeah, we've been all over the place. We've been in Paris for, for the Ryder Cup, which is a golf event. Um, we've
Well, if you
always
could pick,
traveled to the Caribbean, like Turks and Caicos, Bahamas.
so if you could pick one place you've already been to go back and one place you've never been, where would they be?
One place I have been to and I cannot wait to go back. I love Turks and Caicos. It's beautiful. The water is amazing. The people are so nice. But I kind of like when you travel somewhere in the Caribbean and you feel kind of like a little local. Like you get to go to the local, divey kind of bars. Like it has a lot of that. You
Okay,
can do that, and you can also like rent a yacht and be really bougie. Like it has the best of both worlds.
as one does on
Yeah.
vacation.
Someplace I really want to go. I want to go to Mykonos.
I've been. I got the places to go for you. I got everywhere in
Yes,
Mykonos.
let me know. Oh,
And everybody should look up Cabo Tavo Mykonos. It is
mhm.
one of the
Yes,
coolest hotels. It's one
that's where I
where
want to
your room is
stay.
in a cave and you swim out. It is unbelievable. And then there's like Jackie O's, Scorpios. There's all these great day clubs, and you watch the sunset and the food. I've been to every country in Western Europe except for Norway and Finland. So I
Okay.
consider myself a foodie. Lived in Italy, the whole deal, Paris, blah blah blah. The food in Mykonos was sneaky amazing. Like it's like, you
Really?
go to Italy for the food, but just the like fresh Greek salads and you know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
that kind of like Mediterranean food
A lot of
was,
cheese.
yes, a lot of feta, a lot of
Uh,
feta,
uh,
off the charts. Another fun fact that I just learned this week that I feel like the listeners would be interested in, because you were talking about the Caribbean and Turks and Caicos. We all know the world's going to shit these days. So I learned that Antigua and Barbuda,
mhm.
in case you're worried, if you buy a $200,000 or more investment property, you can get a passport.
Oh my God.
So I might have to invest in a little bit of real estate there. We can all go on vacation, and then when we're not there, we can Airbnb it, pay the bills. We could have another passport. So if we all have to jump ship and swim
I
off the Atlantic to be safe, we can be a legal citizen of Antigua.
I've always wanted to be a dual citizen with two passports because I think
Me
it's super
too.
cool. It's really hard to get. So Brooks's caddy, his name is Ricky. He is from Ireland, from Northern Ireland, and he is actually an American because while he married an American girl, um, he always jokes because he was
He
like
was in New
married.
York, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, he was
I
with
met
us.
him at the Dream.
He's amazing. Yeah. So he has two passports. And I always think it's the coolest thing ever because we'll be out somewhere and someone will hear his like thick Irish accent and they'll ask him where he's from. And he like pulls out his like Florida driver's license and I'll be like, I'm from Orlando. So yeah, he has two passports. I'm super jealous. And fun fact about me, I actually have a Bohemian driver's license.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
We
so
need
I'm
to
kind of
explain
a
this.
dual citizen.
I mean,
um,
that's cool to me.
so my mom and I back in 2016 built a house actually in the Bahamas. And because I'm
Like with your
technically,
hands? Or you hiring
yeah,
people?
we were wearing like overalls and had a hammer and nail, and it took many, 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 many years. No,
Funny thing is,
we,
I'm not sure if she's being serious or not.
no, do I look like I know how to build a house?
No,
Come
you
on, no.
don't.
Actually, if you do build a house in the Bahamas, you have to legally use local, like it has to be a local
Oh,
construction.
cool.
So we have a house in the Bahamas, and because we were homeowners there, I was able to get my Bohemian driver's license.
Wait, was Fyre Fest in the Bahamas?
That was where our house is. It was in Exuma.
So did they like rent your house for Fyre Fest?
Uh, it was the same year that we were building, so the house wasn't ready yet.
Thank
But
God.
I got sold on that dream though. I was like, I'm gonna get rich off this house because this fire festival is gonna happen every single year and it's gonna be so successful. And our house was right there next to where they were doing it. So it would have been amazing had it actually been a music festival.
Right, if it, yeah, it wasn't like cheese sandwiches that were, I watched the documentary. The
I
funny thing
went,
is, I'm so old and out of touch. I watched the documentary and I never had heard of it before. I didn't
oh
even know
my God.
about it.
Well,
So
I
I'm a
only
dork.
heard about it because I was going there probably every other month while we were building the house, and it was so great to constantly go back and forth to the Bahamas. Um, but yeah, the locals were super excited about it. Like when I went just before the festival was allegedly supposed to happen, they were handing out t-shirts. Like I got one of the actual Fyre Fest like t-shirts and hat and like
Wow.
all the merch. They were really promoting it. All the locals were promoting it to the tourists to try to get them to come back.
We need
Um,
to sell this on eBay.
I know.
Is
Now,
eBay
and when
still
you
a
go
thing?
back, yeah, it is. Now, when you go back to Exuma, like at the straw markets and all the little like local shops, they sell Fyre Fest shirts now because it's funny.
Oh,
You
okay.
can get them, like you can easily get them now.
Wait, so is your house done? Like, do you have a house in the Bahamas now?
Yeah, yeah.
So is it just like a vacation home or is it like, do you
Uh-huh.
rent it out or?
We do. Yeah, we rent it out. It's called the Beach Blanket. It has its own Instagram as well called it's either the Beach Blanket or Beach Blanket House. I can't remember. It's one of the two, but yeah.
Hopefully one of them's not like dirty or like from like newborn
No,
or
no.
something. And you go to the wrong one, you're like, ooh.
I think it's just the beach blanket. But yeah, it's really cute. It's a really bright, tropical colored house. We rented out pre-pandemic pretty frequently.
And well, I feel like a lot of people were going to the Bahamas during the pandemic too.
Yeah. Well, for a while the airports were closed, but I'm pretty sure
Okay.
they're back open again. But it's where how, like people go swimming with the pigs. It's like right there.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I miss you. We
I
need to
know.
reconnect and I'm
Come
going
to
to Miami
Jupiter.
this weekend. Come down to Miami. I'm going to Miami tomorrow.
Oh, I just spent last weekend in Miami for like the college football like championship and all that.
Oh,
I'm
you were
like,
there for Roll Tide?
well, I was there leading up to the football game. I didn't go
Okay.
during.
So, okay,
Um,
question for you. I'm real fast before we wrap this segment. I went to college in Miami, but I have not been there in a couple of years. Where should I go? Tell me your
ooh,
favorite dinner place, drinks place.
so we stayed. I actually did like a fun like girls' weekend there, and we stayed at the one hotel.
It's where
So
I'm staying.
of course, so the water grill there is unreal. There's this like Japanese noodle dish with like grilled chicken you have to get. It is unbelievable. I've had it 3 times.
Sold.
It's so good. Um, we went to dinner one of the nights at Baoli. It's actually kind of a European style, like sparklers and like
Kind of
crazy.
like Bagatelle, or however the hell you say
Yeah,
it. Yes, but I
it's
heard it's on our list to get reservations. That's so funny. Okay, good to know because I
um,
trust your opinion.
right across the street. This is kind of weird, and I might get attacked for this, but there's a place called Mint, MYNT, and it's kind of a
Mint
club.
was there, like I think when I was in
So
college.
we went to Mint, and it was almost like we got transported back to 2019. Like it was a club. People had tables, and it was like a full-on nightclub
In
in Miami.
in
So we went
totally
there.
speaking my language.
We went there and got tested shortly thereafter, and we made it out alive, thankfully. But
Tested for what? It's Miami. You got to be tested for a lot of things when you leave the club, but not just COVID. That's the funny thing is when I go to Miami, the least of my worries is getting COVID. There's a lot of other strands of diseases you get in Miami. Sorry, couldn't help myself.
well, I'm on my way. I wish I could go. I have to do the Pageant of Hope stuff tomorrow, but
Okay.
I would.
Yes. Okay, well, we'll just pick another place.
Totally. Come to Jupiter.
Done. Well, my parents don't
Yeah.
live far because how far are you from Orlando? Like an hour, right?
Like 2 hours.
All right. Well,
Where
when I'm
Jupiter
allowed
is
to,
kind of in the middle. It's like Miami, Jupiter, Orlando.
yeah, you're north of Palm Beach, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Cool. When everything is better and I can see mom and dad, shout out mom and dad, you're old, I don't want to kill you. I will come down and then I'll do a side trip to Jupiter while I'm hanging.
Yeah. And then, the last place, the Broken Shaker, is a really good cocktail bar in Miami.
Hold on, writing it down.
That's the bartenders there have to have a minimum of 3 years experience, and they can make you literally anything. If you just pick out like a flavor that you like or a couple ingredients, they'll make you the most amazing drink in the world.
So it's more like a Patterson House. I don't know if you've been there in Nashville. Shout out Patterson House. Like just like a cool like cocktail bar.
Yeah, but it's kind of like
That is oomph.
you know how have you been to the bungalow in LA?
Yes.
I might have even been there with you.
We
It's just
sound like such snobs talking
I
about
know
all these
you know
like
the
places.
bungalow, like like
You've been to
Bagatelle.
Bungalow. Hey, did you go to the Hamptons in summer with Christy Brinkley?
So it's kind of like bungalow vibes. It's like indoor, outdoor, and there's like different little like parts to it.
Gotcha. Like
I
Nobu and
would
Malibu.
describe it as like the bungalow of my
Okay, done. All right. Well, thank you for giving. It's kind of like when I went to Singapore and I was on the plane and I, of course, Instagram because I have issues. And I was going to Singapore and I got like 17 text messages. Have you seen Crazy Rich Asians? And
Yeah.
I was like the last person on earth who'd never seen Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
So it happened to be one of the movies that was available on United. So I watched the movie. Amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. But as soon as I landed in Singapore, I just Googled where did they go in Crazy Rich Asians, and that was
your trip.
that was my trip. I went
So
everywhere
it's
they went. I
like,
actually stayed in another little Chewy's travel tips. I stayed at the Marina Bay Sands Hotel,
oh,
the
so
number
good.
one Instagrammed hotel in the world.
It's like one of the most expensive hotels in the world.
Well, life hack, pro tip: if you ever stay at the Marina Bay Sands, get the cheapest room in the hotel, which is on one of the lower floors, because the higher you go, the more expensive it is. And guess what? It's famous for the roof deck.
Yeah.
So you can open your window, and I don't care if I'm looking at a parking garage. My ass is taking my Instagram pictures on the roof. So I'm not paying an extra $800 for a higher floor. You get a reasonable price at a lower floor. And there you go. See, this
That's
is
a
why
good
you travel with me. Yeah.
Good hack.
Exactly.
We should definitely travel internationally somewhere together.
Anytime my passport's valid, it works once we're allowed
Valid
to.
passport? You sound like you're on like OnlyFans or something.
Oh, wait till my OnlyFans season 2. If the podcast blows up, I'll have an OnlyFans. You're gonna pay me to keep my clothes on.
Hey, you're onto something there.
Reverse OnlyFans. I will get naked unless you pay me. I might make $1 million in my first year. So, well, thank you again. It was a pleasure catching up. Appreciate it. You're the best. And cheers. And see you on the other side of COVID.
I'm gonna send you some Loverboy.
Done. I'll drink it. I drink anything. Thank you.